Good morning, welcome to my channel. What I want to talk about today is the world, folks. The atmosphere. Yes. See, we're living in a world of confusion. We're living in a world of deceit. We're living in a corrupt world right now, where people are colorblind. People are just living in denial, folks. But before I get into this, I want to use copyright claim 107 for educational purposes only, folks. Fair use, fair use. Copyright claim 107 for educational purposes, so people can hear, learn, and be taught, folks. Yes, I told you I was going to do a series on Jane Elliott, so I want y'all to hear something, folks. Just sit back and listen. And we're going to get right into this clip, folks. She's an educator and an activist. Non-biased, non-racist. Just here to educate. That's all. Just to educate. So listen carefully, folks.
Is a lie.
Okay.
The idea of race is a lie. It isn't a myth. A myth is something that we will make up to explain something that we don't understand in nature. A lie is something we make up to make our unacceptable behaviors acceptable. And that's what we've been doing with race in this country and in the world ever since the early 1500s. It's time to give it up.
I agree. How would you explain what were the most egregious social catalysts that produced this evolution of racism and sexism and elitism? What do you think that began with in the 15th century?
Religion.
Religion.
This whole thing started with religion when Torquemada, during the Spanish Inquisition, was going to turn everybody Catholic. And he found out, finally, that he had killed a number of Christians. He didn't mean to kill Christians. He only meant to kill those who weren't Christians yet. He was going to bring the Christians into Catholicism. He found out he killed a bunch of Christians, and then he realized you can't tell what a person's religion is by looking at them. So he had to find a way to decide by looking at people whether they were likely to be or not to be Christians. And so he set upon skin color. And he called light-skinned people white and dark-skinned people black, because white is the color of purity and goodness, and black is the color of savagery and evil. And we are living with that to this day. People do not come in black and white. Cats do, dogs do, horses do, cows do, some birds do. But human beings come in shades of brown, because we all came from the same place, someplace in Africa, and we all have a certain amount of melanin in our skin. It's time to get over the idea of white and black. When you label people in that way, you create a chasm between them that cannot be easily surmounted. It's time for us to stop using those two terms.
How effective do you think it's being in erasing
the
terminology?
And I mean, I pretty much agree with what she's saying, because we need to stop using that terminology, folks. Black and white, folks. Because, like she said, cats and dogs come in black and white, folks. We have melanin in our skin, folks. See, I love listening to this woman because she's educating people on this. Yes, we got to stop using that terminology, black and white, folks. Because nobody's black and nobody's white, folks. Yes, some of us have more melanin in our skin than the next person. That's what it is. That's all it is. It's no such thing as black and white, folks. Like she said, we need to stop it. So I'm going to get back into this clip, folks.
It's not being affected in erasing the terminology, because white people hold the idea of the superiority, the supremacy of white people near and dear to their hearts. And they're quite convinced that God is an old white man with a long gray beard that looks like Charlton Heston playing Moses. And people, darker skinned people, have been called black in an insulting way for so long that now they are turning it to their advantage, which is fine, except that it's a misnomer. They aren't black. I can look at most of the black people who call themselves black that I meet, and I can look at them and I can see where their hair stops and where their skin begins. People generally, human beings generally, do not color and come in black and white.
I mean, today we have an erosion of democratic norms. We have an escalating emergency. We have onerous racial inequality, as we've just covered.
You see, what she's saying is so effective. So effective, and it's so true. Yeah. Black and white. Nobody's black and nobody's white, folks. And I love the way she explains this. It's just as easy to understand, folks, as 1, 2, 3. Yes. And I think a lot of folks need to be educated on this thing, folks. That way we can stop using that terminology. I'm black and I'm white. Like she said, cats and dogs come in black and white. And horses. And things of that nature. But us as human beings, folks, we are all one. We might have a little bit more melanin in our skin. I'm not black. This is black right here, what I have on. Yeah. This is white. Yeah. We don't see people those colors, folks. If you do, let me know. And I'll wait for it. Let me know. Like I said, folks, I'm going to be doing a series with this lady. Yeah, I'll be doing a series, so stay tuned, folks, and listen in. Yeah, just stay tuned and listen in, because she's a very nice educator, folks. She's teaching people the real terminology of what we call black and white, folks. Yeah, but it's time to get over that mess, man. You know, so I thought I would let y'all hear a little bit of that on today. So what I'm going to do, folks, I'm going to get on out of here, folks. So if you like this work, stay tuned, folks.